hello there ladies and gents. I'm Tammy Sutniewski. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. In this video, we're going to go over getting really great audio directly in camera. I know a lot of the pros say the best way to get your audio is to record that audio externally and then sync it up in post. But for me, by the time I'm done with my videos, sometimes when I mess up, I hit stop on my remote, then I'm hitting record again. I can have like 20, 30 clips. I don't want to bother recording and syncing up all of that audio completely separate. So today we're going to talk about how to get the best audio directly into camera. This way you can skip that entire syncing up in post process. Now I've said it 1,000 times, but in case you're new here, I'm going to say it again. The most important part of your videos is going to be the audio within the videos. No one wants to listen to background hum or background noise. They want to just hear your voice. And the best thing that you can do to capture audio directly into camera is to not use the microphone that's built into the camera. You have to get a separate microphone. Any kind of microphone will do, as long as you have the camera settings set properly inside of your camera. The most important part of this video is where I take you through the camera settings to show you how to properly set up that audio directly inside of your camera. But before I do that, I want to give you just a little bit of a demonstration here. The audio that you're listening to right now is from a $200 microphone. This is the Deity V3 Mic Pro. And now you're listening to the audio of a $50 microphone. This is the Movo VXR10 Pro, probably my most favorite budget option when it comes to a studio mic, vlogging mic, voiceover mic. It's very versatile, and I love the cool crisp sound that you get from Movo products. And now you're listening to the audio of a $250 microphone. This is the Lark 150. It's produced by Hollyland, and it's a wireless lavalier microphone system. And last but definitely not least is going to be the most budget-friendly option out of all the microphones that I've demonstrated so far. This is a $10 microphone that you can get on Amazon. It's called the Pop Voice Wired Lavalier Microphone. Now, one of the reasons that this microphone sounds better compared to some of the other videos that you may have seen on this, it all depends on the positioning of the microphone. Right now, that microphone is simply attached to the pop filter of my $200 microphone, and it's directly in front of my face, and that's why you're getting that great, rich audio. Now, this is that same wired lav mic, but now I have it attached to my shirt. Certainly, there's going to be a huge difference with the audio, so a lot of it is going to have to do with your microphone position. If you're just doing simple voiceovers, there's no rule that says your lav mic has to be attached to your shirt. All of these microphones I'm recording directly into camera, but there's a couple of things that I had to do while I was changing out the microphones. I just didn't plug the microphones into the camera and go. We're going to jump into the overhead camera for this one because I want you to be able to see the settings that I'm talking about. And this is not just for Canon, this is with every single camera system. Okay, so this is going to be the most important part in getting really good audio directly into camera. First thing we want to do is navigate to the menu settings where the audio is. So I'm going to hit the menu button on my Canon M50, and luckily it's going to be on the very first page. You just toggle down twice to get to the sound recording. So we want to hit the button to go into there. So right there where it says sound recording, let's hit that button. You see it says auto, manual, or disable. Always have it in manual. Now let's go down to the recording level. We're going to hit that button again. This little node right here, that shows you exactly where your camera's preamps are at. And down here, you always want to be at about that negative 12 decibel area. That's why that little green line is right there below the 12. That's going to be the sweet spot. Doesn't hurt to fall a little bit above it, and it doesn't hurt to fall a little bit below it, but you just want to be in that negative 10, 12, 8 decibel area. Too much lower and people won't be able to hear you. Too much higher and your audio will clip. And if you've clipped your audio is ruined. There's no way to salvage that. So right now I'm a few ticks up from the left. So let's show you what happens when we bring that node down all the way to the left. That's going to kill your audio. The preamps are completely turned off. You're not going to be recording any audio. Let's bring it one node up. The audio is there, not great, but it's still there. The more that you lift this little node, the more that the camera's preamps are going to work, and the higher the level for your audio is going to be. And the node is going to be about basically in the middle right here. And as you can see, sometimes we're getting into the red. Sometimes we're clipping. That means that audio would be completely ruined. And obviously, let me just show you, the higher that the preamps are going to be going and working, the worse the audio is going to sound. And by the way, the audio that you're listening to right now is being recorded internally through my camera. And this is about a $400 setup. I have the Rode Pod mic going into a FET gain booster, going into an audio mixer that's going directly into my Canon SL2. The higher that you talk, the higher those levels are going to be up. So you want to make sure you're giving yourself what's known as a little bit of headroom. You want to make sure that your audio is falling just a little bit below that sweet spot. In case all of a sudden you get loud, you get a little excited, it's not going to clip your audio. Now, I don't want you to be confused. I'm not telling you to do this once and you're one and done. This is going to change with every microphone and sometimes every different scenario. You should always check to see where these levels are at while you're recording inside of the camera. Let me go ahead and swap this out for the $10 lav mic. And now these levels are going to be a readout for that $10 lav mic. So with this microphone, we're going to need to push the preamps up a little heavier so that we're going to be properly gain staged. Audio test, this is an audio test. And this is where I would leave the settings for that $10 microphone. But as you can see, the previous node, the blue node, was the node for the $200 microphone. And now it's up not significantly, but it's up probably about 4 or 5 ticks up from where that other microphone was. So now the preamps in the camera are going to work a little harder, which means there's going to be a little more background noise in that audio. And this is the process that you want to go through every time before you hit record and start getting your video. You want to see where your audio is at, because if your audio is ruined, your whole video is ruined. Now, there are some cameras, when you're looking at the back of the LCD screen, they'll have the audio levels right there. But with the Canon M50, it doesn't have that. You have to either go into the menu, or what you can do is hit this info button a few times. 1, 2. So once you hit the info button twice, this is where your audio levels are going to be at. So if you don't want to navigate through the menu system and you just want to quickly take a little peek to see where your audio is at, that's where you can get to it through the Canon M50. And let's say you want to change your audio settings in the Canon M50. You would just hit the Q button, and then you would just hit the audio, and that is going to bring you right there, so that it will bring you into that menu right off the bat, and you can change your audio settings directly from that menu. Now I'm just going to give you a few more tips. Some of them are just, you would think, common sense, and other ones are tips that unfortunately I had to learn the hard way. Number 1, do sound checks. Every single time you're getting ready to set up for a video, do a sound check. Make sure the audio is actually there. Even though you hit record and everything looks like it's plugged in and ready to go, doesn't mean that it's there. Something could go wrong. Maybe the cable's not properly into the microphone. Maybe it's not properly into the camera. Always do just a quick little sound check. Make sure that your microphone is properly positioned. So the DAD is a studio microphone. It can be like 18 inches away from my face and still capture audio really well. Other microphones, however, they can't be that far away from you. Like the Movo VXR10, that's meant to be a vlogging microphone. So it's okay at like an arm's length, but if you can get that closer to you, the better off you're going to be. Never leave your microphone just sitting on top of your camera. If you're more than a foot away from it, it needs to be brought closer to your face. And that's where these extension cables come in really, really handy. They're going to allow you to plug it into your camera, but have it close to you. This is a really important tip for you, especially if you're using those extension cables. And this is one of those that I had to learn the hard way. Never allow your extension cable to lay across or touch anything that has power running through it, like the cord that's going into my camera. Because the extension cables, they can be pretty long. They're like 9, 15 feet. So sometimes it's just, on my floor, all puddled and pulled there, kind of a mess. I had done a complete video that I had to just toss because the audio was ruined. It makes like this weird sound, like a a low hum or sometimes a buzzing. It's not something that would necessarily come across in an audio check, but when you go to edit your video, you're like, oh my gosh, what is it? It can completely ruin your audio. So make sure to keep that line free and clear of any other cables. Last, but definitely not least, make sure you're properly hydrated before you start speaking into the microphone. Because if you have like that dry cotton mouth, it can make a weird sound in your mouth, and that's going to come through on the microphone. People can hear that, and nobody wants to hear that. If people hear that, sometimes they can be grossed out and they'll immediately exit your video before you even get started. And here's my last tip. Just hit record and get going. What are you waiting for? Are you thinking to yourself, okay, I haven't watched enough. I can't start yet. I got to get everything. You don't have to have everything perfect. Your studio doesn't have to be Mac Daddied out. You don't have to have the best microphone. You don't have to have the best camera. You just have to have a drive to want to get going. So really, what are you waiting for? YouTube is not going to send you a handwritten invitation, hey, come join us. You have to just start uploading and making content for yourself, if that's what you want to do. Don't listen to these people that say, it's too late, it's already so populated, YouTube, it's so saturated, it's hard to get up and going. Don't let that get into your head. You have to just do it. You have to just hit record and get going. Well, that's going to do it here for me today. I do appreciate you guys watching my channel. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll try to get to them just as soon as I can. And until next time, please wear your sunblock and call your mom and dad just to say how much you love them.